It could be a mixture of the characters you have, or the writing, or the acting. It could be a combination of all three.
It's funny. I can talk to a whole room full of admirals about anything in the galaxy. But I can't talk to you about how I feel.
I think we're going to go in two different directions with this.
Oh. Well, you're not excited by this episode?
Well, I was saying to my wife, it's like a Channel 5 soap.
Channel 5, not everyone knows what Channel 5 is like.
No.
It's like
Sunset Beach.
Yeah. But they didn't really have much to put on TV, did they?
Nothing.
They just
nothing worth watching.
They just nicked shows from the other channels and put it on theirs, but they're like reruns of old shows.
Yeah. She'd get bad soaps.
Yeah.
So I'm liking this episode to a bad soap.
Okay. You weren't a big fan of it then?
No,
you're not going to get criticised.
I will. You watch. Wait for those comments coming in.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah. 100 of these comments that we're already getting. Thank you.
Yeah. Three.
We might get more.
That's true. That's true. You actually get more feedback on social media if you're controversial.
I hate this episode.
Yeah. No, Wesley's great. He's the best character of all.
Yeah, I should have put that.
Yeah.
That's one of the other things.
That's how you get engagement on social media. To have
say
something
something controversial that no one, the majority
Wesley's
don't
the new
agree.
captain of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
The Borg won't even assimilate Wesley. They'll see it as a downgrade.
Yes.
Anyway, the Icarus Factor.
Yeah. So this is Icarus in Greek mythology is the son of the inventor Daedalus, which is also a name of a class. Daedalus class, who perished by flying too near the sun with the waxen wings. It's a metaphor,
right,
for someone who is too ambitious, or doing something too risky, and suffering devastation because of it.
That's his dad, isn't it? Riker's dad.
Did he suffer devastation?
Well, he neglected his son.
Yeah, because he was too ambitious.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it applies to Worf, though.
No, I think he's plot B, though, isn't he?
Yeah. They're the main two plots, aren't they? Riker and his dad and Worf.
Yeah.
Oh, and the engineering crew.
Oh, yeah.
That's that's a subplot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. There's three things going on at the same time. Okay. But the soap for you is the dad. Riker and his dad.
This whole episode is like a soap, isn't it? There's lots of different things going on.
It's like a day-to-day soap opera, isn't it? I guess you can see it's probably quite soapy because Riker's holding a grudge against his dad.
Mm-hmm. And Worf's got emotional issues.
Yeah, because some people don't remember his
birthday.
Is it his birthday? No,
Go away!
Rite of Extension, 10-year anniversary. Come on. That's why he didn't like the episode. Were you paying attention?
You didn't get a birthday card.
I did not get a birthday.
I'm not a merry man.
We do not get cards. We get rocks thrown at our heads. We call them birthday bumps, but they're different. So at the beginning of the episode, they want to go to this space station, Montgomery.
Yeah, they say it a lot, don't they?
He does. Montgomery. Picard says it all the time.
Yeah.
We should go to Starbase Montgomery.
But the people at Starbase Montgomery want to come on board. How long until we reach Starbase Montgomery?
Lieutenant Montgomery?
We're en route to Starbase Montgomery for engineering consultations prompted by minor readout anomalies. Read. We will have Starbase Montgomery give us an independent reading.
Well, that's certainly another option, but as we are stopping at Starbase Montgomery anyway, we'll let them do the analysis.
I don't recall Starbase Montgomery being on the mission itinerary.
Picard, we're within hailing range of Starbase Montgomery.
I was thinking...
They did say a lot at the beginning.
A lot, aren't they?
Yeah, 3 times at least in very short space of time. Yeah. I did notice that as well, actually.
I mean, that's not an accident because when you're writing, you have intention,
Maybe someone really liked writing the word Montgomery.
or maybe they just liked hearing it said.
Yeah, maybe. They want to do some tests or something to work out.
It's like imperfections. Or,
And then Data makes a recommendation, which at the end of the day is what they go for anyway.
Yes.
But Picard said, let's go there, and we're going there anyway. Let's just check out, let them have a look at the issue.
Yeah, so was that Picard's decision? I need to go back and watch that actually at the start.
Yeah, well,
who then said, yeah, let's have some other people come in and have a look?
Well, I think they were going there anyway because Riker had been offered the Ares.
Yes.
And Picard didn't let him know that his dad's going to be giving a briefing on the mission that going to deep space.
Yeah.
But find out he knew.
By the end of the episode, on the bridge, Picard's talking with Geordi and Data and says, oh, the workmen have decided to go with that decision that
you made in the first place.
Data, anyway.
Exactly.
That's one of the funny points.
Riker going to be briefed by his new mission by his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's quite interesting because we probably work out how old Riker is, because he said it's been 15 years.
Yeah, his dad left him when he was 15.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you add those two together, makes 30. So he must be 30 technically.
I guess so. Oh, yeah, and he's described as being in his prime by Dr. Pulaski.
Oh, who?
Or, no, Deanna. When Deanna finds out from Riker's dad that they're going to have a fight, Deanna's like, don't mean to be disrespectful, but you're not in your prime, are you?
No. Yeah.
So, like, they describe Riker as being in his prime as well, which is estimated to be around 30. That's in our past now, isn't it?
Yeah, very many years in the past.
It's all downhill now, James.
It's downhill now. Great bit where Wesley gets denied for a change.
Somebody.
Enough!
I enjoy like a bit of Wesley denial.
Yeah.
When he's walking down a corridor, being very annoying.
Yeah.
But I think he was asked to be annoying because he was just talking.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what he was talking about. He was just blabbering on about something.
I guess for a Klingon, he's very held back, isn't he?
Mm.
There's part of me that was half expecting him to punch Wesley or beat him up.
But it didn't happen.
No.
Although
that would probably be considered unhonourable.
No, he wouldn't do that. No, he's just a boy, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. Can't just do that.
USS Brat.
Yeah.
Here's your ship, Wesley.
Yeah. Shut up, class. But yeah, back in 10 Forward, everyone seems to know this Kyle Riker. What do you think of Kyle Riker, the actor or the character?
I think they did a good job of the casting. Yeah. Interestingly, he does actually sound a bit like Riker.
Yeah.
Good age in terms of he could pass for Riker's father. You know, I hate the shows where someone's meant to be a teenager and it's obviously played by someone who's about 30.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
So I like it when they cast people according to their age.
Yeah.
I like that there's, you know, an untold feud between them and we don't really find out until later on what it's all about.
Yeah.
It does get resolved a little too quickly, though. It's almost like they have this little argument when they're fighting and then Dad says, I love you. and then Mike is like, yay!
Yeah.
All is forgiven, all is well.
Yeah, because there's no particular reason apart from the fighting that they got all the energy out, but there was no...
I mean, Riker comes out with like, oh, you cheated all those times, that's why you kept winning.
What is it now?
You can't do that.
What?
Hachidan Karitsu, it's illegal.
You're kidding.
All these years. That's why I never won. You were cheating.
It worked, didn't it? Kept you coming back for more.
It should have been you, not my mum, who should have died.
Yes.
Things like that. Now, I'm interested to know a bit more about that. Like what actually happened. I don't think we ever got any information ever in the whole series. What happened and how it could have been him instead of his mum.
Yeah.
Should have been you that
They
died,
could-
not my mother.
They could include those kinds of things can be included, like in an episode if the ship Enterprise needs to go back to Earth, for example, for whatever reason.
Mm.
You have a little bit of update on people's characters. That would have been good. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone seems to know Kyle Riker.
Especially Pulaski.
Especially Pulaski. And it apparently never come up, even though it could have come up in the last episode.
Please join us. Your father and I are just catching up.
You never told me you knew him.
Well, it wasn't exactly a secret. It just never really came up. Ah, you have a practiced hand, Commander.
Yes, I have my father to thank.
Your father liked to cook?
No, he hated it. That's why he left it short of me.
Well, Riker mentioned his dad.
Wow. If he had done,
Why
would
did
Pulaski
Pulaski not
said,
say anything?
"Oh, I
was-
knew him."
Yeah, we used to be, What do you mean by that? Geordie wouldn't know what that means because he couldn't see. Would Geordie see winks through his...
Oh, today it's true. The
wouldn't
data would
see
just be
any-
confused. Like, what's wrong with your eye?
You can tell that they have some intimate thing because she asked for a kiss. Yeah, so that's interesting. That they have. Is it interesting? No, not really. It's a bit.
I mean, I'm mostly convinced that they
would-
have some past together.
Yeah. That's true. Same.
I don't know I can't remember the actress's name who plays
Pulaski,
Pulaski.
Diane Mulder.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking,
Mold.
that's the X-Files, isn't it? But it's similar to Mulder.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
Diana Scully.
yeah.
So she is X-Files. Yeah, no, she's a good actress actually. Like when she was acting that bit, I was thinking, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Apart from the bit I was a bit cringed by.
Did he ever tell you why he never remarried?
What woman would have him with an ego like that?
I would have, in a cold minute.
Oh! All right, thanks. Like, I don't want to know. Someone said that about your
Oh, see.
dad.
Okay, I see what you mean.
We're colleagues.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, I mean, you are colleagues, but there was a big age gap between Riker and Pulaski, isn't there?
Yeah, but still, I want to know any intimate
Yeah.
details of your parents.
Fair
Thank you
enough.
very much. Especially when she
Okay.
was like, in a cold minute. I mean, I don't know what that cold minute means, but yeah.
Yeah. What's a hot minute?
That's even worse. Oh, in a hot minute. There was a few cringy bits, even when Kyle Riker's introduced to Troy. I don't know, like, it's the first time they meet. He kind of gets introduced in sickbay, like they don't know each other. It's just Troy. I think they were talking about the similarities between him and Riker, his son. I said, oh yeah, we have a pretty good taste in women, don't you think?
Oh, yes.
I think that's a bit weird.
Well, he might be a womanizer like Riker. Maybe that's where he gets it from.
Yeah, but it's a bit strange, isn't it?
I mean, it's not a character. It's definitely not something that is good in somebody.
No, but you wouldn't want
I think it's you wouldn't want it, and it's not. It's definitely something you wouldn't want.
Your father saying the same thing about your wife.
But it is. I think it's very realistic, though.
Yeah,
like
about his character.
When you look at Riker and what he's like,
yeah, it's true.
One of the questions we ask is how many women did Riker sleep with?
True, because that's the way he is.
Yeah. So I think it goes with his character, but as a side, not as a because he is very purpose driven. Pulaski touches on this in that when there's the whole group of people he was with, whoever they were killed, he was the only one who survived through sheer will and determination.
And Riker didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
About him.
So he's a very determined person.
Oh yeah, the other thing I thought was quite good is Pulaski's line. I was saying something positive about Pulaski.
Just letting everyone know there is something positive about her.
Deanna's job is to keep us from deluding ourselves.
I like her sarcastic line there.
I see. Okay.
That's her job, is to stop us from deluding ourselves. It sounds like a generalization, but maybe she's actually referring to Kyle Riker. Maybe deluding himself.
Mm.
I know it's a very small part of the episode is the wolf parts.
Yeah, that was good though.
Yeah, so Wesley initiates the investigation, but then said he's got schoolwork to do, and Data fell for it.
Yeah.
And then Data goes to speak to Wolf.
Excuse me, Lieutenant. You seem to have lost the will to communicate with others. You have friends here. We care about you. Why, just recently, Geordie Wesley and I were saying...
With all due respect, be gone! Sir.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good scene between them both.
Mhm.
And I like the fact they all get together and they try to resolve the situation and
Yeah.
realise it's Wolf's 10th year anniversary, age of
Ascension.
age of ascension, whatever that is, and that involves pain sticks.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what I do at my birthday party.
Yeah.
As people come in, I give them all a baseball bat. So, right, you got to hit me now.
Yeah. I think that's probably the most memorable part of the episode is pain sticks.
And the crazy
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Was it Japanese? Were they speaking in Japanese? It sounded...
I think so. Yeah, what did you think of that?
I saw that the suits were very dated.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, that hasn't aged well.
Yeah, that's really dated, yeah.
I like the idea, though, that it seems like one end of the stick senses where your opponent is.
While being
and you have to hit your opponent with the other side whilst being blindfolded. The choreography, I don't think was amazing. Because at times they were like walking around as if they didn't know where the other person was, and they were obviously facing outside of the circle.
Which you wouldn't put yourself in that position. No.
And I was thinking, that doesn't seem...
Yeah.
That hadn't aged well.
No.
Choreography has changed over the years, and things are much more realistic, generally, today. I appreciated, I like the fact that they were having a fight, father and son, trying to air out their issues, because they didn't know how to talk.
Yeah. And we learn more about Riker, don't we, and where he gets his attributes from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And clearly, he's got a lot of resentment towards his dad. And even Pulaski says, you know, you should eject that baggage at the nearest airlock.
Yeah.
He does take the advice eventually, but it just takes a bit of time to do that. And he has to have a fight with the Ambo Jitsu to resolve it.
Mm.
And like you say, he does resolve it very quickly. It's almost like what got resolved. There wasn't any there wasn't anything to resolve it. It was just all the angst came out in the fight.
There needed to be some more conversation, I think, for us to feel like it was resolved
properly. Yeah. It was like, all right, love you. Right, I'm off now. See you later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the wolf part was nice. I guess they couldn't put the full Riker and Kyle Riker plot in
for a whole episode.
So they had to put in this other thing.
There were 3 plots going on, didn't they?
But what was the point of the other plot, really? It didn't really have any purpose to it. This third plot about the computers was almost the only reason to meet with Kyle Riker.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was it, really. It wasn't really... It was a Geordie part.
Shows a little bit about Geordie. He's very proud of his work. But what engineer wouldn't be?
Yeah.
He took it personally that they came on board and questioned his decisions. Data was kind of a slight comedian in this episode, though.
Because of how out of touch he was in dealing with Worf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end, where he's like that, I think, I'm not sure whether Brent was deciding let's do a little bit more, or whether the writers decided. For me, noticeably, Data was a little more leaning towards comedy in this episode,
which made the episode better. Yeah. John Frakes did well with the unforgiveness issues. He did that very well.
Yeah.
But I guess it wasn't the most fulfilling storyline in the episode.
Yeah, because throughout the first half, whenever he saw his dad, he was very much like, "Let me know when you're ready.
and
for the thing.
then walked off.
Yeah, there was no time for anything else. So you can tell there's deep hurt there, hurt, which wouldn't be resolved in one fight and one chat.
Yeah, exactly. But it made you, as a viewer, interested in what's going on. What's the issue? But
yes,
but there isn't. It's just the fact he wasn't around for 15 years.
So the Riker thing could have been developed more.
Yeah.
The Worf plot, it was good, but again, if it wasn't there, wouldn't really affect anything.
No, and it shows. It just shows the crew came together to. It shows the togetherness of the crew. Well,
I always laugh at the image when he walks into the holodeck, and you got these muscular Klingons who are fighters who can just like rah, and then you got these weedy humans at the end game
watching.
Yeah,
just standing there going,
like you would all die if you went through this.
Yeah, because O'Brien talks about how painful.
Yeah,
and head exploding or something.
Yeah, those kind of lines, they to me they always come across as scripted.
Yeah,
it doesn't come across as natural.
You can see by Michael Dorn's acting that it's severe pain.
You can.
The effects.
It also, I mean, it's helpful to have that knowledge that O'Brien gives to us because it helps us understand the physical characteristics of a Klingon. In that, because they can endure this kind of pain, biologically they are a lot stronger and tougher than humans.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't actually know what the animal is that O'Brien's referring to, but we assume
it could be a little mouse.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't like the way that O'Brien
articulated it.
Yeah, it felt like a bit like, oh, we need to put this in.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know how you do it differently. But.
True. All I thought in that scene is at the end, you know, when Wolf collapsed on the floor in pain, it went, oh, thank you. And they're all standing there. It's a good thing the camera cut, because if it didn't cut, what would happen? Well, it's like,
yay?
Should we help you up? And then there's also another Pulaski and Troy scene. They seem to like to have Pulaski and Troy talk a lot.
They're quite conflicting characters, though.
Huh? Conflicting characters.
Yeah.
But they're talking about, well, in this scene, in the observation lounge, they're talking about the similarities they have. Because obviously, Troy is fond of Riker, William Riker, and she's fond of Kyle Riker, and they talk about the men. Men. They were talking about men in that way, like, oh, you know, men are very... I can't remember what they were saying about men. Maybe that's why I switched off.
In spite of human evolution, there are still some traits that are endemic to gender.
You think that they're going to knock each other's brains out because they're men?
Human males are unique. Fathers continue to regard their sons as children, even into adulthood, and sons continue to chafe against what they perceive as their father's expectations of them.
It's almost as if they never really grow up at all, isn't it?
Oh, why is it that men have to resolve their issues fighting? But it's almost like, let's write a scene for the women again.
Oh,
that's what I like the last episode. And I think that's the problem with sometimes with Next Generation. The female characters always get bad. They're written badly. Not all the time throughout the whole of Next Generation, because there are times.
But generally speaking,
there have been episodes where Troy has been written well. She actually does her job. It could be a mixture of the characters you have, or the writing, or the acting. It could be a combination of all three. Because Deep Space Nine definitely have better female written characters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kira, when Nana Visitor read for the role, she thought, this is like a man. It reads like a man.
Mm.
But because there's not normally a lot of women roles written like her in like that character, and I thought it's a very strong character. Not because it is a man; it's definitely not a man.
No,
it's a woman, but that she had a good character arc, good story. Dax is a good character. Dax didn't start off very strong at the beginning, but
I noticed that.
Yeah, I think maybe it come with the actress who was very young. She was trying to play a person who was very old.
Yeah.
But I think she got better as time went on. Even like Kai Wynn, the guest female characters as well. Whereas, Next Generation, I think, struggled from the very beginning. And even in the movies, they don't get much to do. Apart from Troy, she gets to crash all the ships. She crashes the Enterprise D.
Oh yeah.
She crashes the Enterprise E into the Scimitar.
Oh, I see.
So all these similarities in the films. She keeps crashing the ship. Don't put her at the helm.
The writer has really got something about women drivers. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, Diana, take the helm. Oh no. I'm going to hit the planet.
Yeah. That's not great, is it?
No, not for her.
No.
I enjoyed watching the episodes, but in hindsight, talking about it now, it's not an episode I'd normally go back to watch. It's not like, but it's not the worst out of season 2. It wasn't terrible.
It's true. It's not the worst.
Yeah. So I know before we were saying let's give that to the child, but the child has redeemable parts to it as well. But the thing is, this is different because sometimes I was complaining about guest stars taking control of the episode and it's all about them. But the difference in this episode, which I think elevates it, is that you see the effect of the guest character on one of the main characters, which is Riker. You see the effect on him and you get to learn about Riker and how he deals with the situation and how he overcomes it.
Other people as well.
Yeah. So you see whereas like the outrageous Akona in that episode, you just see some guy do his thing. People find him funny and that's about it. And then he goes his merry way. And has no impact on the crew. Maybe it's for Data, introduced him a bit of comedy. But even those scenes weren't all great, apart from the ones with Guinan.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back and watch it.
No?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
No.
Like you said, it's a filler, isn't it?
Riker decides to stay.
Yeah, that was badly done. Like, throughout the whole episode, he's umming and ahhing. Then, kind of mid-late episode, he's made up his mind. He says bye to Deanna. They have a cry and a hug. He's like, yeah, I'm going on the ship. Then very last scene, oh no, I'm staying. But, oh, okay. Just like that.
Yeah. He said, yeah, that's true.
I mean, he said from a selfish motivational reason, which it's not the reason that's the issue. It's the way...
How quickly you made that decision.
Yeah.
Very quickly tied up in a little bow.
Yeah.
Very quickly. It's like, we haven't got long to write a novel. It's a 44-minute episode.
I think...
Get the answers at the end.
I think if they'd just done a Riker episode...
Yeah, it's true.
I think that would have been better. They'd have time to develop characters.
Perhaps they didn't have a lot of time because of the writer's strike at the time. Maybe they couldn't put in... Maybe that was part of the reason. They didn't have... able to work on the script as much. Maybe they were sticking scripts together and just editing bits out to make one script. So it's a bit of a mid-part episode in our opinion. I would say so. Probably like a 3-ish, 2 to 3.
Probably a 3.
Yeah, I would agree. Probably 3. So let's have a look at this. So we had 40 votes on this one. We're probably in the minority.
We are in the minority. That's fine because everyone's different, aren't they?
Yeah. 6% gave it a 5.
Yeah, hold on then. Who in their right mind? Were
It's
you
a
under?
classic, one of
Were
the
you
best
under duress?
Character-driven
Was-
episodes.
Oh, see, one of the best character-driven episodes. Okay, fair enough.
One of the
Okay,
best.
I can understand how it's a character-driven episode.
Yeah.
I think different people look at episodes from a different perspective. I look at it from a very casual kind of chilled out sci-fi.
Yeah.
Would I like to see this again, or as a film or something, rather than do I like the character development and these more intricate bits of plot? So yeah, I think because people look at things completely differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And people might be more drawn to those type of episodes.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, more character-driven rather than sci-fi, which is your preference is more sci-fi stories.
Yeah.
So, on occasion, maybe.
Yeah.
I do like character-driven episodes as well, but I guess it depends.
Yes.
What happens?
Yeah.
Most people, half of the votes, so I guess 20 out of 40, said it's a pretty solid episode, not top tier, but some great moments. I would say that can be understandable. There's some great moments.
Mm-hmm. Pain sticks.
Yeah, I think more on the Wolf side rather than the Riker side, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if people who voted for this, they're pretty solid, if they're thinking more of the Wolf or the Riker storyline.
Mm.
Or maybe they're thinking of the Ambo Jitsu.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Solid moment that is.
Yeah. And then 27%, so a quarter, just over, said it's just okay, which is probably more us.
Yeah.
Enjoyable, but nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
And then 15% forgettable episode.
Forgettable episode.
And then 2%, one person said, yeah, one, crash and burn, like Icarus, this one flew too close to the sun.
Excellent. I wouldn't miss this episode if it crashed and burned.
No.
But those people that voted 5 would.
Exactly. It's interesting. That's a funny thing about Star Trek. Some people just absolutely love an episode. When I did Star Trek convention, I was still talking about the best episodes of Star Trek Next Generation as part of the talk. Mm-hmm. And someone said they can't stand the inner light.
Really?
They said it in front of everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, is anyone, because I asked the audience, does anyone have any different opinions to, these are typically the best episodes. And someone said, I can't understand.
Did they say why?
They did say, but I can't remember what they said. It's on the podcast somewhere.
Okay.
Anyone that don't like any of the top tier episodes, I think, oh gosh.
Yeah, Inner Light.
You don't like that one?
I know everyone loves it, but it always beats bits. There are good battles in it.
It wouldn't be my very top episode in a light. I still think it's a good episode, though.
Yeah.
I would never say it's skippable or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's still good. But I think his point was it's overrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I'm just saying, my point is just, it's interesting how everyone's got different feelings about it. And the important thing is that we can respect people's opinions.
Well, I'm not going to respect anyone's opinion. It's different to mine.
Because some people get really upset when they go, what? You don't like this episode? I mean, even I do. Some people have gone like, what? You don't like this episode? Someone reviewed an episode and I was quite shocked. I think it was Darmok.
Okay.
And they were like really dissing the episode, thinking it's absolute garbage. I was like, what? It's probably one of the most memed episodes. the Timber, when the walls fell, is probably the most quoted episode in the whole of Next Generation, and I hated it. What would you do differently, or how would you write it differently?
So you cut out the episode and move on to the next one.
Delete it. That's absolute. Get rid of it. Let it burn.
No,
that's more of a 1 rating. You giving it like a okay, enjoyable.
I would have it all about Riker and his dad, and have that fleshed out more.
Yeah.
I think when you have one main plot, there's usually some kind of side plot going on at the same time, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't think there's normally just one plot that's...
No, sometimes there is. Like the Inner Light was a full
That's true.
episode, and Cause and Effect, that's a full episode about the situation. No B plot going on.
Yeah.
What they could have done as a B plot is maybe incorporate, maybe they flash back to when he was younger, maybe see Riker with his dad before.
It'd be good to see some images of his mum as well.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's just like looking through some, like he was looking through some photos.
Maybe we could see the situation, go back and go, what happened? What was it? What decision did Kyle make that resulted in his mum's death?
Yeah.
Maybe we can empathise with Kyle Riker and go, we understand why he made that decision.
He could have shared his side in a lot more depth as to what happened.
Yeah. Go more deep into it maybe, rather than just squeezing in B plot of Worf and Geordie faffing about in engineering. And then what did they do really well? I think Riker playing resentment, he did that really well. He's very good at resenting.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I did like the whole family thing with Worf though. Like,
what the
I know it could have
pain
been
sticks.
Yeah, pain sticks. I like death.
Yeah, pain sticks.
I did like the whole thing of like they found out what the issue was, and they said no, it'll be the family that would do it, but we're his family. I thought that was nice because then that helps to solidify. Worf, you're part of us, even though you're different.
Yeah,
we love you.
We accept you, and you're part of the crew, and everyone's behind. He's the loner.
He is, isn't he?
I mean, a lot of the crew are loners in some respects, in some way, but they all come together to help him in his isolation, which is nice.
Yeah, I thought that was done well. I like that. You?
The resentment, the Riker.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he played that really well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not often you see him in such a bad mood.
No. Yeah.
But you don't often see people resentful in Star Trek.
I guess not.
And hold on to grudges.
Garrick does, but he does it in such a light-hearted way.
Yeah, in a twisted way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
this is a twisted character.
This is Deep Space Nine. Next Generation. It's like, you're not allowed to do that. Everyone has to be perfect.
It's true, yeah. Which is why Deep Space Nine is better.
Yeah.
Everyone's unsubscribed.
Just like. Well, I like both in their different ways.
No, you can't like both.
Oh, okay.
That's just silly.
Yeah, that's just me trying to keep the viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep Space Nine is better.
It is.
But Next Generation was the reason, that got us where we are today, in a way.
On that subject, do you think majority of people prefer Next Generation to Deep Space Nine?
I think people do. I think it's very close, though.
Maybe that could be a Facebook question.
It was a question when we did when I did the convention, and Next Generation did win.
Okay,
but only by a small amount. I mean, I don't know how many votes there were. It was like fewer than 100, but over 50 of people voted live, and Deep Space Nine was just in there.
I do remember from that Deep Space Nine thing we went to see at Birmingham.
Yeah.
It was mentioned that when Deep Space Nine came out, it didn't take well at all because it was so different.
Yeah, in today's where we are today, I definitely think it's a stronger series. I think it's probably aged better than the other series.
Yeah,
I think Voyager is probably, obviously the original series. Yes, it's aged probably the worst because of the time.
Okay,
but I feel Voyager is probably aged the worst.
Right,
because it's make no sense. How can a ship be not damaged at any point in time and remain? How can you have all these photon torpedoes and shuttlecraft and your ship be in pristine condition when you're the only one in the system? I don't know, but people love Voyager as well, and I like Voyager, but I feel like that series, as time's gone on, hasn't done as well. And, Neelix and Harry Kim that's great. Chakotay and I'm going to say all the characters.
Yeah. Janeway, Tuvok.
But some people think, I love Voyager. But I do like Voyager too, but I don't think it's as strong as Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. What
line stood out to you and why?
We have pretty good taste in women, wouldn't you say? That's the only one that stood out because of how
uninterested in the whole episode.
Yeah. Of how I think because it was a bit of an awkward line.
What about go away?
Oh yeah, be gone.
Be gone.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I forgot about those ones.
No, I liked when Kyle said to Riker, "I can speak to a room full of Starfleet admirals, but I can't talk to my own son."
That's good. Yeah.
There's a artist called Sam Fender.
What he's a guitarist?
Yeah.
Is a guitar named after him then? Fender.
Oh no, I think he's in his early 20s, I guess.
Oh, now?
Yeah, he's alive now.
He's 20.
He's current in performing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm
an old person.
One of his songs, which came out in 2021, called "Spit of You," it's about his relationship with his dad, and the chorus is, "I can talk to anyone. I can talk to anyone. I can't talk to you."
Yeah, okay.
It's like a reflection on how he can talk to anyone, but he struggles to talk on a meaningful level with his dad.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a common thing with us today, isn't it? You might be able to speak to thousands of people in a big crowd, but struggle on a very deep and personal level. Yeah, something about very personal things, aren't there? Because when you're talking to other people,
you can put a persona on, can't you?
You can do, yeah. It takes a lot of
vulnerability.
Yes. Yeah. To open up to someone you love and communicate at the level. Yeah. So that line stood out to me when you said that.
Yeah, that's much better than my answer. I couldn't find anything. What did you find funny?
Data doing that at the end.
I'm trying to remember when he did that and why he did that. You showed me that earlier. But why did he? Was he imitating someone?
No.
I can't remember.
Picard had said he was with Picard and Geordi on the bridge, and it's when Picard said,
yes, he went,
"Oh look, they didn't need they did all this at work, and they came to the same conclusion that you did, Data."
Yeah.
And Data went,
"Yeah, he's tried to." Yeah, that's funny.
And Data trying to make conversation with Worf.
Yes.
Excuse me. Taps him on the shoulder.
Being really annoying without knowing it. Yeah. What was the ultimate bad acting moment?
my bit.
Is it Troy again? Sorry, in the last episode it was Troy.
Which you probably would have seen if you're watching these episodes.
If you're watching it in order.
But I mean, it could be the worst acting moment, or it could be the funniest part of the episode, depending on how you inclined. Do you feel sad?
Yes. Oh, is this when Riker and Troy? Yeah.
Are you feeling sad?
Yes, I am.
So much.
Yeah, this is like I think this is the first time we see her her own office, because I don't remember seeing that room before.
Probably, yeah.
She's got her own office to cry in.
It wasn't that bad.
I quite like their relationship, Troy and Riker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clearly shown in that scene. So,
yeah.
But
what have you put?
No, what have I put? I just put Pulaski's.
Just Pulaski.
No, I mean, she just said. Maybe it wasn't a bad acting moment, but it's just when she said, "I would," in a cold minute. Maybe it wasn't bad acting, but maybe she acted it too well. Yeah, it was too convincing.
Okay.
What would you say is the moral lesson?
To talk through your emotions and problems.
Okay, thank you. And then I put try to deal with resentment as soon as possible.
Mm. Yeah.
Why? I don't know. Just
So
good
to do,
idea.
innit?
So do.
Be bored, might as well.
Yeah. It's a bit of a hindrance in life, really, if you keep hold of it on it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It affects you as well in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. You might end up sleeping around trying to deal with it all the time, which
Mhm.
is what Riker does.
Mhm.
Maybe he's not dealing with his resentment,
Mm.
and trying to deal with it by, with many women, which
Yes.
isn't working for him at the moment in this season, is it?
Not in the first season, no. Which brings us on to the next question.
How many women did Riker sleep with in this episode?
None.
None. No. And how many times was Worf denied?
None.
He denied others.
Yes, he did, actually, yes.
Be gone!
So he gets some points for him.
Yeah, maybe he redeems himself in some respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any weedy security guards there?
Not that I can remember.
No.
No.
There's not any security-related situations occurring.
No.
No. But anyway, yeah, that's that episode done with, and quite glad. No, it was fine. It was okay. It was okay. Thanks for listening, and please make some comments on this episode. You know, did you agree with us or not? Our thoughts on it, or anything else you'd like to add?
If you disagree, please use all capitals so we know
how
upset you are.
Yes, and offended.
Yes.
Please let us know, and hopefully you can bring all your resentment to our next episode, which we will be doing.
Yes.
Yes.
And we could invite you over and we can have a duel.
Yeah.
Of, what's it called?
Ambo Jitsu.
Ambo Jitsu.
Yeah.
So if you've got any resentment, bring it on. We'll help you resolve your issues.
With some ambo.
Yeah.
Don't do any illegal moves, though.
No.
All right.
We know all the rules.